Going on, good people? It's your girl, Darker Brown, and the one and the only.
You already know what it is. The infamous AT alien himself. What's going on, Darker? Straight from the south side of the ATL. What's up?
What's going on over here on the east side? Yeah, not on the deck, but in the deck. Loving it. Had a good day today. Got a lot of good stuff done. I got to get out. It was beautiful, and it was
It's
just
too cool to be out there on the deck.
Look too cool to be out there on the deck right now. I wouldn't recommend that at all.
No, but I had my window open in my car, so it was very nice to ride around with that. How about you?
I can believe that. Hey, I can't complain over this way. The weather's been good. You know, it's October. It's the end of October, so summer's over. Like it's official. It's no mistaking it anymore. Summer's done. Like that phase of the year is done, and now it's just you have to come to terms with those cool, crisp nights, those crispy mornings. But you learn to appreciate them. It's hard to get out the bed those mornings, I tell you.
It's true. Also, fall and winter are like grind time for me. Grind in the fall and winter, and you enjoy what you sowed in the spring and summer. So this is grind time for me.
Absolutely. So I guess with all that, all the pleasantries out the way, we can go ahead and get to the business of the deck this week. I figured no better place to start than a situation that has social media all ablaze right now, and that is DJ Envy of the what's the name of their show? The Breakfast Club. Coming out in New York City, television and radio, syndicated nationally, a huge show. He is co-host with Charlemagne, and that brother is in a world of trouble for selling hopes and dreams and apparently a bunch of schemes.
Well, but saying that like he wasn't necessarily a part of it, or maybe he just has bad associates. Like maybe it's a Michael Vick situation.
It doesn't look like it. Not when you see video after video of this brother side by side with the main character who his this fellow named Caesar, who apparently was his cohort in this grand scheme, stolen $17 million. And Envy's right there with him in all the videos, talking about how they're going to make you make money, blah, blah, blah. And it's just one of those things where it's like, after all these years, people with very large public personas still will engage in fraud if you allow them. Never be so foolish as to give someone your money just because you hear their voice every morning on the radio.
I think that is fantastic advice. I mean, there are, like you said, these names, DJ Envy, Charlemagne the God, these are folks that have been around for some time and have made it, to syndication on TV. And like, it's a big deal. And there are a lot of people across the world that listen and go to them and think of them as like, who to go to for particular opinions and facts and stuff like that. And you're right, if that stuff bleeds over into real life, and not everybody has the kind of integrity that they put out, their persona, or just because you know them, whatever. And it's kind of fucked up. $17 million. They've been doing a really good job for a long time.
And that's the thing, because it's like you're taking advantage of people who really engage with you as though they know you. Again, it's like T.I.'s old song about "You Don't Know Me." Like, as a fan perspective, you've heard the album 1,000 times, you know it word for word. So when you see this person, you feel like you know them, but you don't know them. And then for that person to use that, that love and trust you have for them to benefit their pockets, while at the same time it appears to be scheming you financially, that's a no-go. And then you look at the blowback it's having on the station, on the branding, on the show. You wonder, are they even going to be able to keep him on the show because of the association? It's not just, this was something he was involved in on the side. This was something that apparently he was the face of. And he we've seen multiple clips of the show where people are, the guests of the show are actually picking on him, saying, hey, this is a scheme and you're going to jail. Like, that's crazy that, it was allowed to go on, like, because it's not unusual, especially in radio, for hosts to have several things going on all at once, and the radio station to support that. But, situation like this can put a cease to all that.
Well, we shall see how this will fall out. And just like, your R. Kellys and your Bill Cosbys. You'll always have your diehards. No matter what the facts are, no matter what they got on video, no matter how many people have said that they've had a situation, you will always have your diehards. And so they'll probably still make money, whether they're in jail or not, to be seen.
Yeah, protect your pockets. Integrity is an important thing. Protect your pockets. And speaking of integrity, I think that makes a great segue into our next segment. Donald Trump's lawyers are flipping. And when I say they are flipping, they are flipping. In the last 2 days, we have seen, since Friday, so in the last two, 3 business days, we've seen 3 of his attorneys so far flip in the Georgia case. And as of about an hour or 2 ago, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has flipped, and he's working with Jack Smith in the federal cases. And he's been granted immunity. And I don't know a lot about criminal justice. Like, I'm not an attorney.
But
it's your field of expertise. But if you've been granted immunity, and if we were creating a pyramid, the chief of staff of the president of the United States would probably be the number 2 person under that pyramid, and that number 2 person is flipped. That's a pretty damn big occurrence in investigation. Let me say that.
That is a huge occurrence in investigation. And, I think the immunity, myself as a good wife and good fight barred attorney, also feel that that immunity piece kind of also illustrates how much information this person has. And, what's interesting to me is you've got Fani, who I know has been receiving some like death threats. Mm-hmm. I'm sure multiples of the other Black and not Black, but Black also attorneys across, who are prosecuting Trump are getting death threats. I'm wondering, will these lawyers that were once Trump's lawyers, would you say making attorneys get attorneys, MAGA? Are they getting death threats too? Are we going to hear those stories? I don't know. I'm curious. Like, who should they be mad at?
I'm certain we are, only because of the death threats that have been going around in the situation that's going on with the House with the Republicans' inability to nominate a House Speaker. When Jim Jordan was running, they were saying that Jim Jordan's people or the fans or whomever but started giving death threats to Republicans that wouldn't sign on to the Jim Jordan Speaker of the House thing. So this is kind of, what your grandma say, when you lay with dogs, you're gonna wake up with fleas. They've been laying with these dogs for so long that the fleas come along with it. And getting back to the subject of Trump and his attorneys and them flipping and them facing evil backlash, absolutely they're gonna face it. Because the first thing Trump's gonna do, and he's already done it in the case of Sidney Powell, is said, I don't even know who that woman is. I don't even, she said she was my attorney, but she wasn't my attorney. I don't know nothing about that lady.
I laughed when I read that. I laughed. I was like, oh, so now you don't know.
Right, just like Mark Meadows, he's gonna hardly know Mark. He's Mark. I don't even know Mark. We know what's coming because we know the script. The unfortunate part for Trump is it looks like the time his running, trying to run away from the wheels of justice, it's not going to happen because these cases are going to be over sooner than he knows. The Georgia case may be pushed up only because Fani cleared her calendar, having these other attorneys flip already. That wiped out a whole case she doesn't even have to worry about now. That calendar is wide open for them to take on that Trump case full time as soon as the holidays are over, and he better be prepared.
I have no words. I just want popcorn. I'm very excited.
I mean, because it's one of those things that we talked about for so long that you wondered, was justice ever going to come? Was justice ever going to move forward? Was anybody ever going to hold this man accountable? And granted, it took some Black folks in New York and a sister in Atlanta to do it. But lo and behold, now that the wheels are turning, it doesn't look good at all. I mean, when your attorneys start flipping and the attorneys who flipped are the ones that flipped, it's not looking good. That's all I can say. If you're Rudy Giuliani, you better be running to Jack Smith and Fani Willis on your hands and knees, praying to the Lord up high for the best deal you can get. You better probably be willing to accept some jail time because they have everything at this point.
So you're saying we should be seeing Rudy Giuliani flipping soon?
He would be a fool not to. I look at it like this, right? If Mark Meadows was granted immunity, right? That means he validated all the testimony of Chastity Hutchinson, plus something else. Because why else would Jack Smith grant somebody that high on the totem pole complete immunity? There's nothing when he already had Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony. That means at bare minimum, he's co-signed on absolutely everything Cassidy Hutchinson has said. So we know from everything she said in public, we know from that part what Trump's already, that's done now because Mark Meadows has signed off on all that. That extra stuff he gave to get immunity, that stuff must have been hot.
Yeah, that I'm telling you, man, that immunity is definitely an implicator. That there's an implication of something that he's got that is meaty, juicy, and
that's not right. That's not guessing game stuff. That's not borderline stuff. This is nail in the coffin shit.
Yeah,
to get immunity.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking direct text, something of that nature. Whatever it is, it's not good for the former president. I say fuck him. He's about to find out. He fucked around for so long, and boy, oh boy, you're about to find out.
He is.
So, we'll cruise right along into our next topic. We're rolling today.
Okay.
I'm going to say this. I'll lay the situation out, and then we'll get your opinion.
Okay.
This is one of those situations, I think, where toxic masculinity is going to take this whole conversation probably somewhere it doesn't need to go. Not necessarily between us, but from a general public perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be rough for Dwight Howard. But the long and short is, Dwight Howard has been involved with the case for the last 2 years where he was accused of sexual assault on another man. The man said he and Dwight Howard met on Instagram, exchanged messages, exchanged pictures, decided to get together. He said things started going left when they were getting into the moment, kissing, rubbing, touching, whatnot. And then Dwight invites a transsexual named Kitty into the room. Bruh said he wanted to book up out the situation at that point, and that's when Dwight grabbed the brother's thighs, yanked him onto the bed, threw him onto the bed, and quote unquote sexually assaulted the man. Now, brother manages to get away, blah, blah, blah. Things happen. So that was that guy's side. Long story short, Dwight Howard's testimony has come out where he pretty much agreed with most of the aspects of the story. Main difference being Dwight Howard said that all the physical interaction with both parties was consensual. That's a lot of story, Dr. Brown, for a former NBA professional athlete. What says you?
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, so firstly, when I hear the name Dwight Howard, I'm not into basketball. Like, I really don't care. It's not a very sport to me. So last I was paying attention was a long time ago. So when I hear the name Dwight Howard, I'm thinking that's from like my time, from like, this is an older person. I'm trying to figure out how is it that he's in the news? Like, does he still play? No disrespect, but like, it's a lot of new niggas in the game. It's all that. So I think it's, anybody who claims to have been assaulted or has been sexually assaulted, like I think that whoever was a perpetrator should definitely be held accountable. I think in this instance, when you've got it in writing from your mouth, you corroborated the story. I don't think it's ever a good thing for a man in America who plays a professional sport to be in this set of circumstances when it comes to like public scrutiny. I mean, that being the case, this is actually probably the best time for it to happen. Thinking about, all the ways that society evolved since when at least I knew who Dwight Howard was back in the day. But I will say at the same time, it's easy. You hear these team owners saying like, oh, something racist has happened. Everybody keep your mouth shut. Just entertain the people. Just play basketball. It doesn't matter, right? But like, this could, as you were saying, maybe like help to end Dwight Howard's career. No one will want to like be near him or whatever. Like, so it's okay to be racist, right? Just shut your mouth. Racism, okay, but like if you're gay, nah, we can't fuck with it. So like this country is really just fucked up. That's
Yeah, without a doubt. And to go towards your relevancy question, as of about 2-3 weeks ago, Dwight Howard actually tried out for the Golden State Warriors. They considered it very closely, but they decided not to re-sign him. So he is literally like on the hair of being back in the league. He has played in Taiwan, I think, the last year or so, but he's still in great shape. I mean, if you look at Dwight, he's like, I think he's 41, maybe 40 years old now. He looks like he's 32. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. The brother's in phenomenal shape, right? Anybody says anything different, right? But it is funny that you say that because it's absolutely true. You know, you have players in the NFL that have questionable past with domestic violence, racism. You have a white defensive player in the NFL that's very famous and is big time MAGA and not very friendly to black folks type person, right? And he's very famous in the NFL. So things are out like that. But the moment a man's sexuality is questioned to this extent, it's amazing how fast it will be over, to the point where, because this is a case that Dwight's been dealing with since 2021, I'm wondering, is this why he didn't get signed? Is this why, when the team said this is coming to an end and this story probably will be coming out and this will become the biggest story of this team? And that's saying a lot when you play on a team with Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Clay Davis, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, right? And this story would have taken over that team. And this would have been for a backup center who may have been playing 5-6 minutes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, so you look at any other team, they're not going to bring them on now. And it's crazy because I would argue very strongly that the only reason the Lakers won their last championship was because Dwight Howard was effectively able to negate the Jokic out there in Denver. So, and that was in the bubble year, but that's neither here nor yon. But long story is, to me, what was crazy about the story is that he was meeting men on Instagram. Like in this digital day and age, like people want money quick, fast, and in a hurry. And if I got you, exchanging pictures with someone in this type of situation already, that's playing with fire, man.
That's pretty cool. He was able to get Dwight Howard.
I mean, you don't know what kind of bitches he was sitting to Dwight Howard.
Explicit.
Yeah, man, but what I found so funny with the story, I'm me, I just thought that brother was cool with everything to the fella named Kitty came out, and he was like, wait a minute.
No, and what I read, he had already met Kitty, and then he knew that Kitty was going to be part of the situation. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what Dwight said. So, but that's why they're going to court. But what they did agree on is there was a whole lot of contact, and the question comes in is how much of that contact was consensual versus get over here and you gonna take it and you gonna like it. And that was a quote too. And hold on.
Yeah, and so it's not even just like the sexual orientation and the sexual preference, but also like consent.
Right.
Saying like being like a sexual predator, like that's not okay. So
and there have been stories about Dwight for a long time. I don't want to get into the main character, but man, that brother might need to get some help. That's all I can say. He just don't need to get one of them Trump attorneys because they'll flip on you. Dog, and we running up on time. You got anything on for the peeps before we get up out of here?
I don't, other than just like get your fall time swag together, because I know I am.
Yes, indeed. It's about to be vacation time for me, folks. So my whole mind right now is on the Dominican Republic, and until then, I'm gonna be big chilling. All right. But until the next time, folks, y'all take it easy. We out this thing. Peace.